Right now, as you're watching this video, 9 countries are secretly drafting billion-dollar plans to steal India's brightest minds. And one of them just succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. If you're an Indian professional, what I'm about to show you will change how you see your career forever. Here's a stat that should terrify every Indian parent. A 2024 MIT study found that 40% of Indian STEM graduates now consider emigration, compared to just 12% in 2019. That's 2.8 million brilliant minds ready to leave. But country number 9 on our list has a strategy so aggressive, it's causing panic in New Delhi. Before we dive in, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your talent is undervalued in India? Like you're working twice as hard for half the recognition? Well, these 9 countries have noticed, and they're rolling out the red carpet specifically for you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which country offers the best deal for your specific skills. Let's start with number 9, Canada's silent invasion. Meet Priya Sharma, a 26-year-old software engineer from Bangalore. She was pulling 50-hour weeks at Infosys, earning 8 lakhs rupees annually. Her dream of buying a house in Bangalore seemed impossible. Even a 2 BK cost 80 lakhs. She was living with 3 roommates, commuting 2 hours daily, and watching her savings disappear into rent and EMIs. Then she discovered Canada's Express Entry program. Here's what most people don't know. Canada specifically targets Indian tech workers. They fast-track applications, offer 6-month processing times, and provide settlement funds. Priya applied in January 2024. By July, she was in Toronto. Today, she earns 85,000 Canadian dollars. That's roughly 52 lakhs rupees. But here's the kicker. She bought her own house in 18 months. A 3-bedroom house with a garden. In Toronto. The same salary that barely covered rent in Bangalore now gave her property ownership in one of the world's most expensive cities. According to the 2024 Canadian Immigration Report, 67% of new tech immigrants are Indian. Canada isn't just accepting Indian talent, they're actively hunting for it. They've created special streams for Indian students, faster processing for Indian professionals, and even Indian-specific settlement programs. But that's nothing compared to what Priya told me about the work culture. 40-hour weeks, actual weekends. 6 weeks of paid vacation. When she got sick, they told her to take time off, with full pay. No questions asked. Canada's strategy is working so well, they've increased their Indian immigration targets by 300% for 2025. But Canada's strategy looks amateur compared to what Germany just announced. Germany just launched something called the Opportunity Card, and it's revolutionizing how countries recruit Indian talent. Here's what's insane about this program. They're giving Indians work permits without requiring job offers first. Think about that. You can literally move to Germany just to look for a job. The German Federal Employment Agency's 2024 report reveals they're targeting 400,000 Indian professionals by 2027. That's nearly 500,000 Indians they want to relocate to Germany in the next 3 years. Meet Rajesh Patel, a 32-year-old marketing manager from Mumbai. He was earning 15 lakhs, which sounds decent until you factor in Mumbai's costs. His daily routine was brutal. Wake up at 6 a.m., 90-minute commute, work until 9 p.m., another 90-minute commute home. He was spending more time commuting than sleeping. His breaking point came when his manager called him at 11 p.m. on a Sunday asking for a presentation by Monday morning. That's when he started researching the German Opportunity Card program. The application process shocked him. No job offer needed. No German language requirement initially. Just proof of qualifications and basic funds. He got approved in 8 weeks. Today, Rajesh works 35 hours a week in Berlin. Let me repeat that, 35 hours a week. He earns 65,000 euros annually, which is about 58 lakhs rupees. But the real difference is quality of life. He cycles to work in 15 minutes. His office closes at 5 p.m. sharp. Germans literally leave their desks at 5 p.m. No exceptions. He gets 30 days of paid vacation. That's 6 weeks. Plus 12 public holidays. Plus unlimited sick days. When I asked him about work-life balance, he laughed and said, "In Germany, life comes first. Work comes second." Germany's secretly subsidizing this program with 2.8 billion euros. They're not just offering jobs, they're offering German social security, healthcare, and pension benefits from day one. But Germany's being generous, but wait until you see what Australia's offering. Australia is literally throwing money at this problem. $1.2 billion specifically to attract Indian talent. But it's not just the money, it's how they're spending it that's genius. Their Department of Home Affairs created something called the India-Australia Strategic Partnership for Talent. They've identified 47 specific skill categories where they want Indians. Everything from eye specialists to renewable energy engineers to medical researchers. Dr. Ananya Krishnan, a 29-year-old medical researcher from Delhi, represents everything wrong with India's research ecosystem. She had a PhD in cancer research, published 12 papers, and was earning just 6 lakhs annually at AIIMS. 6 lakhs for someone trying to cure cancer. Her research proposals kept getting rejected due to lack of funding. She spent more time writing grant applications than doing actual research. The bureaucracy was crushing her scientific dreams. Then Australia's Global Talent Program reached out to her directly. Not the other way around. They found her research papers and contacted her. The process was incredibly fast. Permanent residency approved in just 3 months. She's now leading a $2 million Australian dollar cancer research project in Sydney. Her salary is 120,000 Australian dollars, roughly 66 lakhs rupees. But the real change is research freedom. Unlimited funding for promising projects. State-of-the-art equipment. A team of 8 researchers under her supervision. Her latest research on personalized cancer treatment has already attracted international attention. She's published 6 papers in 18 months. More than she published in 4 years in India. Australia's strategy goes deeper than just recruitment. They're creating Australia-India innovation hubs in Indian cities to identify talent early. They're partnering with IITs and IIMs to offer direct pathways to Australian opportunities. Here's the most shocking part. They're guaranteeing that Indian professionals will see career advancement within 18 months, or they'll help them find better opportunities elsewhere. Australia is so confident in their system, they're offering guarantees. But Australia's throwing money, but Singapore is offering something money can't buy, guaranteed success. Singapore just announced they're guaranteeing Indian professionals will earn 300% more within 2 years. Not hoping, not trying, guaranteeing. The Singapore Economic Development Board's 2024 Indian Talent Initiative is the most aggressive talent acquisition program I've ever seen. They study exactly what Indian professionals want and created a point-by-point solution. Vikram Gupta, a 34-year-old financial analyst from Chennai, was earning 12 lakhs with a nightmare commute. 2 hours each way on Chennai's traffic-clogged roads. He was living with his parents to save money for a house down payment that kept increasing faster than his savings. Singapore's Tech Pass program offered him something unprecedented: an instant work visa, housing support, and a job matching service that connected him with 47 companies in his first month. He now earns 95,000 Singapore dollars. That's about 58 lakhs rupees. But Singapore's cost efficiency is incredible. His apartment overlooks Marina Bay, 15-minute commute by subway, and he saves more money than he ever did in Chennai, despite earning more. Singapore's strategy is surgical precision. They've identified that Indians struggle with 3 things internationally: visa uncertainty, cultural adaptation, and career progression. So they solved all three. Instant work visas for qualified professionals, Indian cultural centers in every district, and guaranteed career progression programs with measurable milestones. They're even importing Indian festivals, food, and cultural practices. Singapore is essentially creating India but better, all the cultural comfort, with none of the systemic problems. But Singapore's making it easy. But the UK has a strategy that's historically loaded. The UK is essentially trying to reverse colonize India's brain power. And the irony is thick enough to cut with a knife. According to the UK Home Office's 2024 data, 45% of global talent visa recipients are Indian. But here's what's really happening. The UK is specifically targeting Indian talent in sectors where they colonially extracted resources before: technology, pharmaceuticals, financial services, and manufacturing. Kavya Reddy, a 28-year-old AI specialist from Hyderabad, was earning 18 lakhs as a brilliant coder, but hitting career ceilings everywhere. Indian companies wanted her to do routine work. Startups couldn't afford her skills. Multinational corporations kept her in support roles. The UK's Global Talent Visa offered her something unprecedented: a pathway to work with DeepMind, Google's AI research division. The same DeepMind that's trying to solve human-level artificial intelligence. She's now earning £85,000, about 88 lakhs rupees. But the opportunity is priceless. She's working on AI models that could reshape humanity's future. Her code could impact billions of lives. The UK's strategy is historically ironic, but economically brilliant. They're offering Indians what the British Empire never did: equal partnership in building the future. They've created Global Talent Fast Track, specifically for Indians in AI, biotech, and fintech. Processing times under 3 weeks. Direct pathways to permanent residency. And something called exceptional talent recognition. If you're brilliant, they'll waive most requirements. But here's where it gets controversial. The UK is actively recruiting from IITs, IIMs, and Indian research institutions. They're not waiting for applications, they're headhunting. The UK wants our brains, but wait until you see what the US is hiding. America has quietly created the most sophisticated Indian talent acquisition system in history. And they're not talking about it publicly because it would cause international diplomatic issues. US immigration statistics for 2024 show Indian H-1B approvals are up 340% in specialized categories. But that's just the visible part. There's a shadow system of fast-track programs specifically designed for Indian talent. Arjun Mehta, a 31-year-old startup founder from Pune, represents India's entrepreneurial potential. He built an edtech company that served 500,000 students across rural India. Revenue of 12 crores annually, profitable from year 2. But he was drowning in Indian regulatory challenges. Education department approvals took 18 months. Tax compliance consumed 30% of his time. Funding rounds required navigating 47 different clearances. A Silicon Valley accelerator didn't just offer him funding. They offered him a complete ecosystem transfer. Move his entire operation to California, fast-track green cards for his team, and provide regulatory support for expanding globally. He sold his Indian operations for $12 million and relocated 23 employees to San Francisco. His company is now valued at $50 million and serves students in 23 countries. But here's the deeper strategy. America isn't just recruiting individuals. They're recruiting entire ecosystems. When Arjun moved, he brought his suppliers, his technology, and his business model. India lost not just one entrepreneur, but an entire innovation network. The US has created innovation transfer programs that identify promising Indian startups and offer complete ecosystem relocation. It's not brain drain, it's ecosystem drain. They're targeting Indian unicorn founders before they become unicorns. The next Bijus, the next Amato, the next Payton. America wants to incubate them from the beginning. America's playing the long game, but Japan has a strategy that's actually genius. Japan isn't just hiring Indians. They're creating a parallel Indian society that preserves everything Indians love about Indian culture, while eliminating everything they hate about Indian systems. The Japan External Trade Organization's 2024 initiative is creating Little Indias in 12 major cities. But these aren't just cultural enclaves. They're fully functional Indian ecosystems with Japanese efficiency. Deepika Iyer, a 27-year-old data scientist from Mumbai, represents the cultural dilemma of Indian professionals. She was technically brilliant, but felt culturally isolated in previous international opportunities. Western countries wanted her skills but not her identity. Japan's Indian Cultural Integration program solved this perfectly. They offered her a job plus complete cultural preservation. Indian temples within walking distance. Indian grocery stores with fresh vegetables. Indian festivals celebrated as official holidays in her district. She's earning 8 million yen, roughly 44 lakhs rupees. But the cultural integration is unprecedented. Her office serves Indian lunch options. Her colleagues learn Hindi. Her manager understands Indian festival schedules. Japan studied why Indians struggle internationally and solved every problem systematically. Language barriers. They provide Japanese classes with Indian cultural context. Food problems. They imported Indian chefs and ingredients. Social isolation. They created Indian community networks. But here's Japan's masterstroke. They're not asking Indians to become Japanese. They're asking Indians to be Indian in Japan. It's cultural respect at a scale never seen before. They're building Indian international schools, Indian healthcare clinics, and even Indian legal support systems. Japan is essentially creating India 2.0, all the cultural richness with Japanese systemic efficiency. Japan's being incredibly smart, but the #1 country has a strategy so bold, it's making international headlines. The UAE isn't just hiring Indians. They're building the world's first Indian majority developed economy outside of India. And their timeline is aggressive beyond belief. According to UAE Vision 2071, they plan to make Indians 40% of their population in knowledge sectors. That's not 40% of immigrants. 40% of their total population in technology, finance, healthcare, and engineering. Sanjay Kumar, a 35-year-old infrastructure engineer from Delhi, represents India's urban planning expertise. He's a brilliant engineer who designed transportation systems for Delhi Metro. But he was frustrated by bureaucratic delays, political interference, and corruption-induced project slowdowns. Every brilliant idea took 3 to 5 years to implement. Environmental clearances alone took 18 months. His designs for improving Delhi's traffic flow sat in government offices for years without action. The UAE offered him something unprecedented: leadership of their $50 billion new city development project. Not a job. Leadership of an entire urban ecosystem bigger than most Indian cities. He's now designing entire districts in Dubai. Smart city technology, sustainable transportation, integrated living working spaces. His annual compensation is 400,000 dirhams, roughly 90 lakhs rupees, with zero taxes. But the scale of opportunity is mind-blowing. He's not just designing buildings, he's creating urban ecosystems that will house 2 million people. His work will define how humans live in desert climates for the next century. The UAE's strategy goes beyond individual recruitment. They're creating parallel governance systems optimized for Indian professionals. Indian business districts with Indian commercial law. Indian residential areas with Indian cultural amenities. Indian professional networks with Indian mentorship systems. McKinsey Global Institute's 2024 report suggests the UAE could become the world's second-largest Indian professional hub by 2030. Not the largest Indian diaspora, the largest concentration of high-skilled Indian professionals outside India. They're essentially building a backup India for Indian talent. All the opportunity, none of the systemic constraints. But here's the terrifying truth no one's discussing publicly. The Indian Economic Survey of 2024 estimates that brain drain could cost India $1.2 trillion in lost GDP by 2035. That's not just lost salary. That's lost innovation, lost entrepreneurship, lost technological advancement. Every prior who moves to Canada takes with her the potential to build India's next major tech company. Every Rajesh who moves to Germany takes expertise that could have improved Indian industrial efficiency. Every Ananya who moves to Australia takes research capability that could have made India a global healthcare leader. Think about it this way. The founders of Google, Microsoft, Adobe, and Tesla all have Indian connections. Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, Shantanu Narayan, and teams of Indian engineers. That innovation happened in America, not India. What if that talent had stayed? What if India had provided those opportunities? What if Indian systems supported innovation instead of constraining it? The next breakthrough in renewable energy could come from an Indian mind, but benefit a foreign economy. The cure for diabetes could be discovered by an Indian researcher working in a foreign laboratory. The next revolutionary app could be built by an Indian programmer for a foreign market. But there's hope, because these 9 countries are succeeding by doing exactly what India could do better. Canada succeeds by fast-tracking processes. India could eliminate bureaucratic delays. Germany succeeds by respecting work-life balance. India could regulate working hours. Australia succeeds by funding research. India could increase R&D investment. Singapore succeeds by guaranteeing career progression. India could create transparent meritocracy systems. The UK succeeds by recognizing talent. India could eliminate reservation politics in private sector. The US succeeds by supporting entrepreneurship. India could simplify business regulations. Japan succeeds by cultural integration. India already has the culture, it just needs the systems. And the UAE succeeds by eliminating taxes and bureaucracy. India could implement tax reforms and administrative efficiency. Every advantage these countries offer, India could provide better. India has the talent, the culture, the market, and the potential. India just needs the will to reform systems that constrain rather than enable. So here's my question for you. Would you take a guaranteed 300% salary increase if it meant your hometown loses its next potential unicorn founder? And more importantly, which of these 9 countries would you choose, and why? But here's the real question. What's the one thing India could do to make you stay? Drop your answer in the comments below. The most creative and practical solution gets featured in our next video.